欢迎来到上海车展。这台绝对是这次车展全场最酷、最具话题性的一台概念车，它是来自宝马的 D 啊。这个 D 呢，可以展开说，它有个名字的，叫做数字情感交互概念车。怎么个交互法？你看它的外形就知道了。这部车的车身是会变颜色的，现在不是用灯光把它投影来变色，它是真的，这个车身的材料本身自身就会变色。这是一个特别酷的一个科技，叫做 E-Ink 电子墨水啊。其实它本质上呢，它是一层这种通电的纸薄膜，反正是一个很新的技术。宝马的设计师说，他们绝对不会告诉我们这个技术什么时候才可以量产，但是这个确实是扎扎实实，它可以变各种颜色。这回他们还专门为中国造了一个唐三彩颜色，真的很酷。这个轮圈也可以变色。为什么要把这个车做成能变色呢？因为它可以表现它的情感，它可以告诉你它的喜怒哀乐，它还有一些功能性哈。刚才设计师告诉我说，冬天这个车可以变黑色吸热，夏天它可以变白色银色凉快。然后你在停车场找不到自己车的时候，你可以远程的按一下，那车就开始变成这种彩色在这里晃了，你可以看得到它。然后如果它要被别人撞的话，它可能可以突然变成红色，梆梆梆在那里闪，很有意思啊。但是这个技术呢，现在当然是炫耀的成分居多。不过我想告诉大家，宝马它不是只想炫耀，他们真的在探索未来的车应该变成怎么样。有些朋友说，哎呀，这个变色车在我们交管那边没法备案了，这东西在中国没法生产了。不要这么狭隘哈。我们想一想，100多年前汽车刚有的时候，欧洲有些国家他们还要求人在车前面摇着旗子在那里呐喊，让人让开给汽车走呢。100多年后谁会想到，是吧？这个车我相信不用等100多年，可能等个10年、8年、20年、30年，我们会有机会看到这样的车。那其实这回宝马拿出来的东西不只是外表，他们还在里面有一些特别新的创意。我们做到这个车的里面去感受一下，走。
Welcome to our latest product.
欢迎大家能够看我们这个概念车
BMW iVision D. It's a character car. So the car itself is all about communicating with you in a very subtle way. So on the side you see the latest technology from E-Ink.
有我個樣喺度。他會看我啊。
So right now it detects you, but in a very subtle way. You know, it's all about communicating on certain areas. The car should say, "Hey, I recognize you. You're the driver, so I see that, and I will give you a feedback." So you can start. You have the brake and the driving pedal. You don't have to steer. All you have to do is accelerate. Takes a while, even more. Are you pressing through? There you go. Perfect.
Okay. Okay.
So, very basic information. So let's get a little bit more information coming in. So no screen needed. All we have is right in the windshield.
So this is the second grade, right?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
okay.
You can even do the slide to the next if you want. Yeah. Sometimes it's, yeah, slide. There you go.
Okay.
Now I got even information. We have more interaction on the social media part, whatever you feel or you wanted to have. And one more feature we have is the guiding. We can put that into place as well. But it's not only for that, we also have it for safety features. Like, I bet you haven't seen a bike coming in. So it's also for safety features. And this will be our last slider, which means we're coming close. And now the sound is coming in. And then we move it into the full virtual world.
This is only for autonomous driving.
This is, it actually what it does, you can just go ahead. What it does, it maps a world that you can create on top of the existing world, which means you're still driving. It's not autonomous. You are driving, but instead of driving on a rainy day back home after work,
Okay.
it will map a world that you can create on top of the existing road. It can be, I don't know, Beijing, it can be Munich, it can be this.
所以我们现在看到那个路面是一个真实的，是吧？
100% real. It's just map. It mixes a virtual world with the existing world. All the way, it should be this holistic experience. It creates this cocoon around you.
好，刚才我们体验了这个全景思域桥在这个 D 的概念车上的体现啊，它总共4个档次，每一个档次它会不断的增加它的内容，从你的现实世界到增强现实，到完全的虚拟世界。虚拟世界那个是很迷幻的，就它直接把你的车厢包在一个茧房里头，人就在一个茧房里头，你看到的全部是你想看的东西啊。但是当你回到现实的时候，你随时可以切回到现实的世界，就现实跟虚拟已经有些搞不清了，其实感觉是非常非常迷幻啊。这个东西到时候在量产车上它到底能怎么做，我觉得会非常非常有挑战性。好了，我们又看了变色车身，又看了虚拟世界的驾驶舱，有很多宝马的死忠粉就会问了，这宝马到底是要干嘛呀？宝马以前不是追求纯粹驾驶乐趣吗？难道现在面对这些电动化、智能化的新时代，已经完全不知道未来的方向是什么呢？怎么要搞这种这么花哨的东西？这个问题其实我心里面也存在，所以呢，我要找一个有料的人物来回答这个问题。谁最有料、最有资格回答这个问题呢？一定是宝马的老大，而且不是一般老大，全球的宝马老大。我在上海车展约了，我要跟他当面的求证一些话题。走。Okay, hello, Mr. Sipser. First of all, I would like to welcome you to Shanghai. Yeah, I'm honored to have the opportunity to talk to you directly. First, let me introduce myself. I have been in the auto media industry for over 20 years, mainly working on car reviews. I review hundreds of new cars each year.
Well, first of all, thank you for making that interview. We really like to talk to professionals who drive the cars themselves, you know, and understand what is going on.
As we all know, the auto market and products have changed dramatically over the past few years. Especially in China. So my question today is focused on BMW's development plan in the era of electrification, and I'm sure you'll give exciting answers. So let's begin with the questions. I heard that you haven't been to China for a few years, maybe 3 years, right? So do you know what happened in Chinese auto market? What has changed?
Yes, I haven't been for 3 years to China. And what we see here, there's a very rapid opening up of China. With the new government, it's opening up, and it all propels the modernization of China in a very high speed. And of course, the electric vehicles play a very important role here. And we are right in the middle of it. Let's take a look at what we do. At the end of this year, we will have 11 BEV products with all our brands, BMW, Mini, Rolls-Royce, BMW Motorrad. So we are right in the middle of it. And if you look at it, we more than doubled our BEV sales. And I'm not even talking about PHEVs. Only we doubled our BEV sales last year. And look at the first 3 months of this year, the first quarter. We tripled our BEV sales. So we are right in the middle of it. And that is starting, so to say, as a new book. This opening up, and that propels the BEV strategy. And in 2 years' time, we will offer to the market here, like in the rest of the world, our Neue Klasse. It's a new architecture, fully electric, circular, and digital. And you've seen the D last night, you've seen the D today. We think to bring character, to bring uniqueness to BEVs is something we thrive after. And as you see with our figures, we are thriving with the market here.
So my next question is about rivals. Besides Tesla, you know, there are many Chinese brands of EV products. Have you had a chance to get to know them in depth?
Well, like you, we drive all the cars. So we know the competition very well. You know, we drive them, we take them apart, we learn from them. We learn from them what they do very well, but you also learn from them from the mistakes they do. There's no such thing as a perfect manufacturer. And I think 3 things are very important. The first thing, of course, you have to have the functionality, but not only functions to add them up, they must always be integrated to the car. What we see, sometimes there's too much adding up for features, and then you ask, what is that car? What does it say, that car? The second thing, a car has to have a character. A car is not just the sum of its features. It must be a holistic sum, system integrated, and that is where I think BMW is particularly good in. And the third thing is not only about concept cars, you must be able to ramp it up and keep the quality high. These are the three main important things.
So what do you think are the biggest highlights and the weaknesses of the Chinese car companies in terms of electrification and those EV products? And what do you think is the BMW's weakness? And facing the huge change in the market, do you have some sense of crisis, anything?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
You know, China is for BMW the largest market, and what we bring in new products here that pays into our growth strategy. I think every car which is sold to a competitor could be a BMW customer. You know, of course. But we are at home here in China, and we have a growth strategy. We invested heavily, not only in a newest car plant like Lydia, which is a large extension of our Tichy plant, but we also have a 10 billion renminbi investment of the next battery production site. So we are very optimistic on our product strategy for the next coming years, but also for the Chinese market. You know, and look at the i7, which we introduced. I think that car doesn't really have any real competition. It's a luxury sedan with a China-inspirated backseat environment. We have the theater screen. There's no other competitor who does that theater screen. So we are quite confident and self-conscious that we will develop with the Chinese market, which, as you say, is rapidly evolving. But it's a good opportunity for us to show what we can do. You know. So, in my side, just my own opinion, I think Mercedes got the wrong way for their flagship EV models. So have you ever felt that BMW did something wrong or missed out on technology or market opportunities? You know, when we look, we have a market share of roughly 3.5% worldwide. We have to serve these 3.5%. We're not a mass producer, we're not, you know. And we have to know our customers. And we have a broad base of customers. Of course, a largely growing number of NEV or BEV customers, but we also have the M division. You know, we are dominating force in the M division, which is growing, by the way. You know, what you see, we have this fierce focus on BEVs, but of course, this automotive market is much wider. This is the fastest growing segment, but there's a lot of things happening in parallel. Plug-in hybrids. We are a global company. We're not only here at home in China, you know. So we always keep that global perspective, and in that width, I think we have the right strategy. And one thing to mention, I think, now we have a large focus on BEVs, which is surely, and again, as I said, we will have 11 products. But I think in the next 5 to 10 years, hydrogen will also play a big role, especially in the premium car segment for larger cars. You know, because you, of course, have larger batteries, you have resource dependencies, you have charging infra issues. So, and that ability to develop all drivetrains, to make yourself independent of drivetrains, is a unique ability of BMW. And that is what we also say. And at the same time, we drive BEV mobility upwards. It's happening at the same time. And it's not connected by or, but by an and. You know? And that's our strategy.
Last night's conference, we saw the Neue Klasse. Is it right? It's a German Neue Klasse.
That's right.
yeah, it's a German word. The project you mentioned, it seems that BMW has found a very confident direction with the new generation models. So can you tell us, where does your confidence come from?
Well, the confidence comes from we learn. We are not a static organization. We're a fast learning organization. And if you look, for example, the show last night is a different one than we showed before the pandemic. It's a different one.
Yeah.
No, much more modern, much more digitalized, much more adjusted to the specific needs of Chinese customers and journalists, of course.
Yeah.
You know, and we thrive on the skepticism of the Chinese customer, who is on average much younger than a German customer, you know.
Yeah.
And I love that. You know, I really love that, to learn from them, to draw the right conclusions. Because cars, they don't come every year new. You know, so you have to have a concept, at least for the next 5 years. And of course, there are a lot of new Chinese companies in here. But of course, their cars will age over time, you know, and then you will see how are they adaptable, are they upgradable, and so on. And I think that's a good task for us to keep that challenge. And as our member of the board for R&D said, we quickly ramped up the R&D fraction we have here. We have more than 3,200 people working already here. And this year we will open up a completely new R&D center here in Shanghai. So we're adapting swiftly and quickly to the markets of the biggest car market in the world. You know.
So we know that BMW earned its reputation in the 1960s and 1970s by its handling, superb handling. We all remember that famous slogan, "Share driving pleasure." Yeah. So what about the new generation? What kind of car brands does BMW aim to be in the future?
You know, BMW became famous by the ultimate driving machine, and that has to do with the car. That will never go away.
Yeah.
That will never go away. We want to be still the best handling car in the world. But that is not a contradiction to automated driving features, autonomous driving, electric driving. That's not a contradiction at all. Our customers, and again, it's only 3.5%, they love the driving capabilities of BMW. If we would take that away, we say, what are they doing? You know, and that's a peculiar characteristic of our cars. And we would like to transform that into the next step, where driving characteristics are merged with digital. We want to merge the real driving experience with the virtual world. And that is why our concept vehicle D, that we bring the head-up display, which we invented, by the way, 20 years ago. We bring that to the next level now. You know, where the full screen is utilized for car information. And there's one important principle that will never go away: hands on the wheel, eyes on the road. I think there's too much driver distraction these days. By an overemphasis on digital, on screens, on bigger screens. Driver distraction is a dangerous thing. I think you should never take the eyes away from the road as long as you're not driving completely autonomous. The car should do that for you. You should never look down and operate some kind of menu. It's too dangerous, you know. And that's the next step, that you reduce driver distraction, that you can concentrate, and all the rest is done either by digital functions or by artificial intelligence, that the car already knows what is the next step. Because a lot of things, navigation and driving assistance systems, they already know what's going to happen next. And I think there you can do a big next step.
So amazing future. But we all know that BMW will continue to sell the existing models for the next 2 years before the arrival of the new generation or new products. So how will you get through this period? Are you confident and optimistic about the growth?
Absolutely. What we're doing, you know, you've done the i7, the i7 70. Have it?
Yeah.
You have to drive it.
Yes.
You have driven it.
Yes.
What?
The i7.
What do you think?
Yeah,
no. The i7 M70.
Oh no.
You should drive that.
Yeah. Okay.
This is a mysterious car. This is really BMW at its best. But we also have the iX1, and I think we have the ability to have an architecture. We don't talk about platforms. We talk about architectures, where we become independent of the drivetrain. And that's the ability. It's not a compromise. Drive the iX1. This is not a compromise car. It's on a flexible platform, but it's not a compromise car. And that ability, there are very few companies who can do that. And therefore, by the ability to have factories, architectures, and our product strategy around that, that gives us a growth perspective and be reactive to specific needs. And I think it's a perfect opportunity. And this year, you will see the i5, you know, Chinese long version, only in China. As the range will be more than sufficient of that car. And it's a car specially made for China. And it's also, again, a flexible platform, just like the i7. And I think the world will learn that that is an ability only BMW has.
So this is exactly the next question. Has the development of BMW's new cars has been influenced and inspired by the Chinese market? And will there be models designed specifically for China? So I know that the answer, of course. Yes, yeah.
I saw Zhao Fei last night, the Chinese artist. And in the 7 Series, in the festive mode, you can see her art in the car. So that's a typical example for me where Chinese society, Chinese taste, Chinese art is influencing our products. The new 7 Series is only available in the long version. The front of the car is very much designed to Chinese taste. The rear seating is very much adjusted to Chinese taste. So there is a lot of influence in the car design. And the long version of the iX1, of the i5, of course, that is made for the Chinese customer, of course.
Obviously. Okay, the last question. Is there anything you would like to say directly to the die-hard BMW fans in China, like me, and any words to the potential new generation of young customers?
Of course. BMW moves bodies, hearts, and minds. This is our motto. We will never disappoint our customers about these mottos. Driving a car like a real BMW, and that is developing further and further. We move hearts, we build emotional products. We bring together different technology to a unique experience, and we also want people to think. That's the BMW moves minds. We want people to think as like, I've not thought about that. Like with D, we bring people to think about standardized perceptions, ever bigger screens, without thinking that this is a huge distraction for cars. So BMW moves bodies, hearts, and minds, and you can rely on that.
Okay, thank you for a great answer, and I wish BMW success under your leadership. Yeah.
No, thank you very much for
we
the
look forward to
discussion.
see you again. Maybe see you in China more often.
Well, I've been here 3 times in the last 6 months, so I'm not so bad. I'm not so bad.
Okay.
No, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. 好的，跟宝马老大的对话呢就告起段落了啊。这回的车展呢，我们近距离的看了电子墨水，我们坐进这个D里面去体验了虚拟世界。我们还是极少数的有机会直接把我们的真实的问题丢给宝马的老大，跟他当面沟通的媒体人。大家可以把牌面打在公屏上啊。我自己也觉得确实得到了很多有启发的信息，尤其是最后那段老大对全中国的宝马的死忠粉和未来的年轻消费者们讲的那番话，我觉得真的可以看得到宝马的决心和他们清晰的方向。这样的宝马，大家又是怎么想的呢？你会更喜欢以前的传统操控宝马，还是未来的注重数字情感交互的新的宝马呢？把你们的想法写在我们的评论区里头，兴许我可以挑出一些很有启发性的、很有创意的话题反馈给老大，好吧？这就是今天的节目了，谢谢大家，拜拜。